great European cheeses, it's no wonder that the cheese plate is gaining in popularity in restaurants around the US. Today I'm going to show you how to make a European-style cheese plate with flavors and textures from all around the world. When making a cheese platter, you want to include 3 to 5 different cheeses, varying in tastes and textures, as well as milk type. And when arranging your cheese platter, you want to arrange them from the most mild to the strongest, around the plate clockwise. We're going to get started with the President goat cheese from France. Goat cheese is one of my absolute favorite cheeses. This imported goat cheese is a very creamy, smooth style goat cheese. President goat cheese from France has a very mild taste and creamy texture to it. What I like to do is coat the goat cheese with a pumpkin spiced pecan. So I have here some candied pecans that I toasted with pumpkin spice, and I'm just going to go ahead and roll my goat cheese log in the pumpkin spiced pecans until I get a nice crust on here. This will give a good flavor, good texture to the cheese. A little bit of contrast to the smooth flavor. I'm going to slice off a little bit of goat cheese here to prepare this for the guests so they don't have to cut it themselves. Of course, this wouldn't be a traditional European cheese board without a traditional Brie. President Double Cream Brie is the #1 Brie in France and in the US. This double cream Brie has a very rich, creamy texture, buttery flavor, with just a little bit of hints of mushroom and garlic. I like to pair the Brie with apricot preserves. The apricot preserves have just enough acidity to cut through the richness of the Brie and gives a nice contrast of flavor. Next up is our Don Bernardo Manchego. This PDO name-controlled cheese comes from the high plateau region of La Mancha, Spain. Name-controlled means that everything that goes into the production of this cheese is controlled, from the Manchego sheep to the texture of the cheese to how long it's ripened. To prepare this cheese, we're going to remove the top and bottom rind. We're going to leave a little bit of the side rind on because this is a traditional method of ripening the cheese and harkens back to when the cheese was ripened in grass molds. We'll slice a couple of slices off for our platter. And we'll pair this cheese with membrillo, also called quince paste. This is made from a reduction of the quince fruit and has a very sweet and slightly tart taste that is a perfect balance with the sharp, rich cheese. And goes really nicely with a little bit of sage. The European cheese plate is a great place to showcase our President Emmental. This imported Swiss-style cheese is made with 80 years of artisanship and tradition, made from 100% RBST-free milk. I like this cheese because it has a very mild, nutty flavor, a traditional taste, and none of that bitterness that Swiss cheese is often known for. I've paired this cheese with a Pomeré mustard from France. The grainy mustard is a perfect accompaniment to this cheese and offsets its flavor quite a bit. Just put a little bit on the side, drag your spoon through for a nice presentation. Finally, we end our trip around Europe with the Galbani Gorgonzola Picante. This PDO name-controlled cheese, imported from Italy, is aged longer than the classic Gorgonzola, so it's drier and more full-flavored. I've paired this cheese with candied orange peel. The candied orange peel adds a nice sour and sweet note to the cheese, and I've chopped some of the orange peel up to add a little bit of crunch when we're tasting our cheese. Finally, it's time to arrange our platter. We'd want to train our staff, as we would with a wine program, on the history of the cheeses, the milk type, where the cheeses are from, stories that give the romance to the cheese platter. This will help sell the program. I garnish my platter with some dried apricots, some candied pecans and crostini, and a nice loaf of crusty bread. This will give us a nice presentation for this cheese platter. For more information on the European cheese platter, be sure to visit us online at lacalesculinary.com.